Atomic Habits by James Clear has changed how we think about habits and personal growth. In this book, Clear introduces practical strategies to help you build good habits, break bad ones, and master small actions that lead to big results. Whether you're trying to improve your health, become more productive at work, or just feel happier in life, the principles in this book can guide you on a journey of transformation. It's not just about big, overwhelming changes. Instead, it focuses on making small, easy adjustments that, over time, make a huge difference in your life. What if you could improve every aspect of your life by just 1% each day? Small changes, even ones that seem insignificant at first, can lead to incredible results over time. Atomic Habits shows us how little habits, the ones we might not even notice, can build up and completely change our lives in the long run. This book isn't just about relying on willpower or staying motivated. It's about creating systems that make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. If you've ever struggled to make lasting changes or wondered how successful people consistently reach their goals, this summary is for you. Let's explore the key ideas from Atomic Habits and see how you can unlock the power of small changes in your own life. Underscore 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 the power of small changes in 2003. Something extraordinary happened in British cycling. Before then, British cyclists were known for being poor performers. Since 1908, British riders had only won one gold medal at the Olympics, and for years, no British cyclist had ever won the Tour de France. Their performance was so bad that even top bike manufacturers refused to sell bikes to the team because they didn't want to be associated with their failures. Then, the British cycling team hired Dave Brailsford as their new performance director. Brailsford was different from other coaches because he had a unique strategy for success. He called it the aggregation of marginal gains, which means making small improvements in everything you do. His approach focused on looking for tiny areas where the team could get just a little bit better. These improvements weren't huge or dramatic, but rather small tweaks that, when added together, made a big difference. Brailsford made many small changes. He redesigned bike seats to make them more comfortable, ensured riders wore electrically heated shorts to maintain the ideal muscle temperature, and even had the tires cleaned with rubbing alcohol for better grip on the road. These changes might sound minor, but they started to add up. The British cycling team began to see incredible results. At the 2008 Beijing Olympics, the team dominated, winning several gold medals. In 2012, at the London Olympics, they did it again, proving that these small changes had turned them into one of the best teams in the world. But how did this happen? How could a team go from being so bad to becoming world champions with just small changes? This is the power of small habits. We often don't notice them right away because they work slowly and quietly. However, over time, their effects can become life-changing. Imagine you improved by just 1% every day. That may not sound like much, but by the end of a year, you would be 37 times better than when you started. Habits are like compound interest for self-improvement. The more you practice, the more you gain. Their impact might not be obvious at first, but if you stick with them, the results will show after months or even years. The problem is that bad habits work in the same way. If you make small, unhealthy choices, like eating junk food, you might not notice the effects right away. But over time, these small bad habits can add up and cause serious harm. Whether you succeed or fail in life depends a lot on the habits you follow every day. Underscore, 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 how your habits shape your identity. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to break bad habits, while good habits are difficult to adopt? Despite our best intentions, once bad habits take hold, they don't let go easily. We often try our hardest to change them, but more often than not, we fail. According to James Clear, this happens for two reasons. One, we try to change the wrong things, and two, our approach isn't effective. Most people start the process of change by focusing on what they want to achieve. For example, they might set a goal to lose weight, get a promotion, or save more money. This leads to what Clear calls outcome-based habits. Outcome-based habits are focused on the end result, but they often don't work because they don't change the underlying reasons behind our behavior. If you only focus on what you want to achieve, you're missing the bigger picture, who you want to become. Instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, it's more effective to focus on what you want to become. This leads to identity-based habits. When you shift your focus to your identity, you start thinking about the type of person you want to be, not just the goals you want to reach. Imagine two people who are trying to quit smoking. When the first person is offered a cigarette, they say, "No, thank you, I'm trying to quit." This response makes sense, but it also implies that the person still identifies as a smoker who's trying to change. They want to change their behavior, but deep down, they still believe they are a smoker. When the second person is offered a cigarette, they say, "No, thank you, I don't smoke." Notice the subtle difference. This person doesn't just see themselves as someone trying to quit, they see themselves as a non-smoker. This shift in identity makes all the difference. When you change your identity, it's easier to change your habits because you're not just acting in a certain way, you're becoming the person who naturally behaves that way. The more you take pride in a certain part of your identity, the more motivated you'll be to stick with the habits that reinforce that identity. If you want to become a healthy person, it's easier to follow healthy habits. If you want to be more productive, it's easier to adopt productive habits. You just need to decide what kind of person you want to be, and then prove it to yourself with small changes in your habits. Underscore, 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 underscore. Building Better Habits in 4 Simple Steps in 1898, a psychologist named Edward Thorndike conducted an experiment that revealed how habits form and guide our behavior. He placed cats inside a puzzle box that had a simple escape mechanism, such as a lever that would open the door when pressed. At first, the cats explored the box randomly, trying to escape by pawing at the walls and sniffing the corners. Eventually, they would press the lever by accident and escape the box. After repeating this process several times, the cats learned to press the lever almost immediately after being placed inside the box. Thorndike described this learning process as the development of a habit. Actions that produce satisfying results are likely to be repeated, while actions that don't provide a reward are less likely to be repeated. Clear explains that every habit works in the same way, following a simple four-step loop. 1. Cue. The cue is what triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. It's a signal that tells you there's a potential reward waiting for you. 2. Craving. Cravings are the motivational forces behind every habit. You don't actually crave the habit itself. You crave the reward it brings. For example, you don't crave smoking. You crave the relief it gives you. 3. Response. This is the actual habit or action you perform. Whether you respond or not depends on how motivated you are and how much effort it requires. 4. Reward. The reward is what satisfies your craving. It's the reason your brain remembers the habit for the future. Understanding this loop can help you design better habits. If one of these steps is missing, the habit won't form. For example, if you don't have a strong craving, you won't be motivated to take action. If the response is too difficult, the habit won't stick. If there's no reward, your brain won't remember the habit for next time. Underscore, 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 how to start a new habit in 2001. Researchers in Britain conducted a study to see how people could build better exercise habits. They divided participants into 3 groups. The first group, the control group, was asked to simply track how often they exercised. The second group, called the motivation group, was told to track their exercise and was also given information about the benefits of exercise, such as how it improves heart health. The third group was given the same information, but with one extra step. They were asked to create a specific plan for when and where they would exercise. This third group had to write down a statement like, "I will exercise for at least 20 minutes on this day, at this time, in this place." The results were striking. In the first 2 groups, only 35% to 38% of participants exercised at least once a week. But in the third group, 91% of participants exercised at least once a week. This method is called implementation intentions, which means making a clear plan for when and where you will act. Studies show that having a specific plan significantly increases your chances of sticking to a new habit. It's not enough to just want to exercise or get fit. You need to know exactly when and where you'll do it. Most people think they lack motivation, but in reality, they lack clarity. When you know exactly what you need to do and when to do it, sticking to your goals becomes much easier. Underscore, 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 underscore. In conclusion, Atomic Habits shows us that the key to personal growth and success doesn't lie in making massive changes overnight. Instead, it's about making small, manageable improvements every day. When you build systems that support good habits and break bad ones, success becomes inevitable. The real power of atomic habits is that they compound over time, leading to extraordinary results. By focusing on who you want to become and making small changes to reinforce that identity, you can create the life you want. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. At Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, a primary care doctor named Anne Thorndick had an idea. She believed she could help people eat healthier without trying to change their motivation. Instead of lecturing people or making announcements, Thorndick decided to change the environment around them. She and her team conducted a 6-month study to test this idea, focusing on the hospital cafeteria. This study introduced a concept called choice architecture, which involves altering the way choices are presented to people to influence their decisions. The first step Thorndick's team took was to rearrange the drinks in the cafeteria. Initially, soda was placed in the refrigerators near the cash registers, making it easy to grab as people paid for their meals. Thorndick's team replaced the soda with water bottles, making water the more accessible option. They didn't stop there. They also placed water at other food stations throughout the cafeteria. Soda was still available, but it was placed in less convenient spots, like the main refrigerator. The results were striking. Over the next 3 months, soda sales dropped by 11.4%, while bottled water sales increased by 25.8%. The same approach was applied to food items, and the results followed a similar trend. People started choosing healthier options, even though they weren't consciously trying to. The most surprising part: no one even noticed the changes. It wasn't that people suddenly wanted water more than soda. They simply chose water because it was easier to access. This experiment demonstrates an important truth. People often don't choose what to eat because they truly want it, but because of where it is placed. Our environment influences our behavior in ways we don't always realize. For example, imagine you walk into your kitchen and see a plate of cookies sitting on the counter. You might start eating them without even thinking about whether you're hungry. Why? Because they're right there in front of you. The cookies are part of your environment, and their presence nudges you toward eating them. This is why changing your environment can have a powerful effect on your habits. If you want to build good habits or break bad ones, you don't need to rely solely on motivation or willpower. Instead, focus on changing the environment around you. Make the cues for your good habits easy to see and access, and make the cues for your bad habits invisible or difficult to reach. For instance, if you want to drink more water, place water bottles around your house in the living room, the kitchen, even your bedroom. This way, you're constantly reminded to drink water, and it becomes an easy, automatic choice. If you want to read more, leave books in places where you spend a lot of time, like on your coffee table or next to your bed. By making small adjustments to your environment, you can create a setting that naturally encourages positive behaviors and reduces the need for motivation. The secret to self-control: in 1971, during the Vietnam War, 2 U.S. congressmen, Robert Steele from Connecticut and Morgan Murphy from Illinois, made a shocking discovery that stunned the American public. While visiting U.S. troops stationed in Vietnam, they found that nearly 15% of soldiers had become addicted to heroin. This revelation led to a wave of concern about what would happen to these soldiers when they returned home. Many feared that the country would be overwhelmed by drug addiction. Further research revealed that about 35% of service members in Vietnam had tried heroin, and 20% were actively addicted to it. This led to the creation of a government program called the Special Action Office for Drug Abuse Prevention, aimed at helping soldiers overcome their addiction once they returned to the United States. What happened next surprised everyone. Despite widespread fear that these soldiers would continue their addiction when they came back to the U.S., most of them didn't. Research led by Dr. Lee Robbins found that when these soldiers returned home, 90% of those who had been addicted in Vietnam stopped using heroin altogether. Only a small percentage relapsed. How could this happen? The answer lies in the environment. In Vietnam, soldiers were surrounded by cues that triggered drug use stress, easy access to heroin, and the presence of fellow soldiers who were also using. But when the soldiers came home, they returned to an environment that didn't include those same triggers. The availability of heroin, the pressures of war, and the social circle of fellow users were all gone. Without these environmental cues, the soldier's drug habit disappeared. This discovery challenges the common belief that breaking bad habits is solely about self-discipline and willpower. Our culture often teaches us that the solution to all our problems lies in being more disciplined. But the Vietnam study, along with many other examples, shows that environment plays a much bigger role than we might think. People who are considered to have strong self-control are not that different from those who struggle. The difference is that they've learned how to structure their environment in a way that reduces temptations. In fact, people with the most self-control tend to use it the least because they avoid tempting situations altogether. They set up their environment to make good habits easier and bad habits harder. This means that if you want to improve your self-control, you should focus on optimizing your environment rather than trying to increase your willpower. Make the cues for your good habits obvious and easy to access, and make the cues for your bad habits hard to see or reach. For example, if you want to stop snacking on unhealthy food, don't keep it in the house or put it in a place that's hard to get to, like a high shelf or a locked cupboard. At the same time, keep healthy snacks like fruit or nuts in plain sight. How to make a habit irresistible in Dublin, Ireland. An electrical engineering student named Ronan Byrne found himself in a dilemma. He loved watching Netflix, but he also knew he needed to exercise more. One day, he came up with a creative solution. He connected his stationary bike to his laptop and TV and wrote a computer program that would only allow Netflix to play if he was pedaling at a certain speed. If he stopped pedaling, Netflix would pause. This clever hack turned exercising, something he didn't particularly enjoy, into an activity that he looked forward to because it was now linked to something he loved watching Netflix. This approach is an example of a technique called temptation bundling. Temptation bundling involves pairing something you need to do but may not want to with something you enjoy. This method makes the less desirable activity more appealing and increases the likelihood that you'll stick with it. The idea behind temptation bundling is rooted in a psychological theory called the Premack principle. This principle states that you are more likely to perform a less desirable activity if it is linked to a more desirable one. For example, if you enjoy listening to audiobooks but struggle to motivate yourself to exercise, you could combine the two by only allowing yourself to listen to audiobooks while you work out. This way, you're motivated to exercise because it's paired with something you enjoy. Temptation bundling is a powerful way to make habits more attractive because it combines immediate gratification with long-term benefits. You get to enjoy something fun right away while also working toward a goal that will benefit you in the long run, like getting fit. By making the necessary actions more enjoyable, you increase the chances that you'll stick with them and turn them into long-lasting habits. The role of family and friends in shaping your habits. Our habits are not just influenced by our personal preferences, they are also shaped by the people around us. From a young age, we imitate the behaviors of those close to us, such as our family and friends. We pick up habits from our parents, siblings, classmates, and co-workers, often without even realizing it. Every culture and social group has its own set of norms and expectations that shape our habits. For example, if you grow up in a family where healthy eating and regular exercise are the norm, you're more likely to adopt those habits. On the other hand, if your family tends to eat a lot of fast food and rarely exercises, those habits are likely to rub off on you as well. Research shows that our social circle has a significant impact on our behaviors. One study found that if one of your close friends becomes obese, your chances of becoming obese increase by 57%. This is because we tend to adopt the habits of those around us, whether consciously or unconsciously. The same applies in reverse. If you surround yourself with people who have healthy habits, you're more likely to adopt those habits yourself. This is why it's important to be mindful of the social circles you're a part of. If you want to build better habits, it can be helpful to join a group where those habits are the norm. For example, if you want to start running, join a running club or find a group of friends who enjoy jogging. Being around people who share your goals makes it easier to stick with your habits because the environment supports and encourages those behaviors. How to fix bad habits? Breaking bad habits isn't just about removing them from your life. It's also about reframing how you think about them. One simple yet powerful way to do this is by changing the language you use. Instead of saying, "I have to exercise," try saying, "I get to exercise and improve my health." This small change in wording can shift your mindset and help you focus on the benefits of the habit rather than the effort it takes. By reframing your habits in a positive light, you can make them more appealing and easier to stick with. This approach emphasizes the rewards of your actions, which makes the habit feel less like a chore and more like an opportunity. It's a subtle shift, but it can have a big impact on your motivation and consistency. Walk slowly, but never backward. Building a habit takes time, repetition, and patience. Many people believe that it takes 21 days to form a habit, but the truth is more complex. According to research from University College London, it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic, although this can vary depending on the person and the habit. The key to building habits is not how long it takes, but how many times you repeat the behavior. Every time you repeat a behavior, it strengthens the neural circuits in your brain that are associated with that habit. Over time, the behavior becomes easier and more automatic. To make a new habit easier to stick with, break it down into small, manageable steps. If you want to start exercising regularly, don't aim for an hour-long workout right away. Start with just a few minutes a day and gradually increase the time as the habit becomes more ingrained. Remember that consistency is more important than intensity. It's better to take small steps forward than to try to do too much at once and risk burning out. Even if you're only making a little progress each day, you're still moving in the right direction. As the old saying goes, walk slowly, but never backward. The law of least effort. The law of least effort is a very important concept that explains how our brains work. Our brains are designed to save energy, and this is why people tend to take the easier route when faced with choices. It's human nature to choose the option that requires the least amount of effort. This means that if you have two similar options, you will likely pick the one that is easier or less demanding. Every action we take requires energy. The more energy something requires, the less likely we are to do it. For example, consider a habit like exercising. If the workout seems too hard or time-consuming, many people will avoid it. In a sense, every habit we have is like an obstacle standing between us and what we truly want. Let's look at dieting as an example. For someone trying to get fit, dieting can feel like a major obstacle. It takes effort to resist unhealthy foods and stick to a meal plan. Similarly, meditation might seem like a barrier to achieving peace of mind because it requires time and discipline to practice regularly. Often, we don't enjoy the habit itself, we love the outcome it delivers. We want to be fit or calm, but we don't necessarily love the hard work that gets us there. So, if most people are naturally inclined to avoid hard work, how do some individuals still manage to achieve their difficult goals? The solution lies in creating an environment where doing the right things is as easy as possible. When you make positive choices easier, you reduce the obstacles that might get in your way. For instance, meal delivery services can reduce the hassle of grocery shopping and cooking. Similarly, dating apps make it simpler to meet new people by removing the awkwardness of introductions. To build better habits, explore ways to make good habits easier and increase the difficulty of bad habits. For example, you could keep your workout clothes in a visible and accessible place so they are ready to wear. You could also prepare healthy meals in advance to avoid the temptation of junk food. By designing your environment to support your goals, you can make it easier to follow through with good habits. At the same time, you make it harder to indulge in bad ones. This approach not only helps you conserve energy, but also helps you stay consistent with your desired behaviors. Ultimately, it leads to achieving your goals with less effort and struggle. How to stop procrastinating with the 2-minute rule, something new or big. If you want to stop putting things off, one helpful strategy is the 2-minute rule. This rule suggests that when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Starting with smaller, manageable steps can help you overcome the urge to procrastinate. Often, We get excited about making big changes and end up trying to do too much too quickly. However, breaking tasks into smaller pieces can make it easier to begin. For example, instead of telling yourself, "I will read for 30 minutes before bed," you could say, "I will read 1 page before bed." If your goal is to do yoga for half an hour, you can start by simply taking out your yoga mat. The key is to make it easy to start a particular habit. Whether you choose to meditate for 1 minute, read 1 page, or fold 1 piece of clothing, just starting with something small can lead to bigger changes over time. Many people underestimate the impact of doing just one small action. Reading 1 page of a book daily might seem insignificant, but it is more important to establish the habit of reading than to focus on how much you read at first. Once you begin with those first 2 minutes, it can become a routine that leads into a larger habit. This method is ideal for becoming skilled at any difficult skill. Once a habit is formed, it becomes easier to perform the action regularly and perfectly. You can even combine the 2-minute rule with habit-shaping techniques to help you reach your ultimate goals. After establishing a habit, you can take it to the next level by increasing the time or effort gradually. Repeat this process until you feel confident in your ability, and only then should you move on to more challenging tasks. Eventually, you will find that the habit you wanted to build has become a natural part of your daily routine. How to make good habits easy and bad habits hard. To effectively make good habits easier and bad habits harder, let's look at a historical example. In the summer of 1830, the French writer Victor Hugo was facing an impossible deadline. He had promised his publisher a new book 12 months earlier, but hadn't made much progress. Instead, he got distracted by other projects. Frustrated, Hugo's publisher set a strict deadline of 6 months, telling him he had to finish by February 1831. Many people struggle with procrastination, especially when trying to start feeling the pressure. Hugo came up with an unusual strategy. He gave all his clothes to his assistant and instructed them to lock them away. Without clothes to wear outside, he had no choice but to stay home and focus solely on writing. During the fall and winter of 1830, Hugo dedicated himself to completing his book. His hard work paid off, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame was published 2 weeks before the deadline on January 14, 1831. The lesson here is that success isn't just about making good habits easy, it's also about making bad habits difficult. To achieve this, you need to design your environment in ways that support your goals. Here are some strategies to consider. 1. Remove temptations. Just as Hugo removed his clothes to avoid distractions, you can eliminate things that leads to bad habits. For instance, if you want to eat healthier, get rid of junk food in your home. This way, you won't be tempted to indulge when you feel hungry. 2. Increase friction for bad habits. Make it harder to engage in bad habits. If you find yourself wasting time on social media, log out of your accounts or delete the apps from your phone. By creating barriers, you make it less likely that you will fall into those bad habits. 3. Decrease friction for good habits. Make it as easy as possible to follow through with good habits. If you want to exercise in the morning, lay out your workout clothes the night before. This way, when you wake up, everything is ready for you to get started. 4. Create a positive environment. Surround yourself with reminders and cues that encourage good habits. If you want to read more, place books around your living space where they are easy to access. Seeing books will remind you to pick one up and read. 5. Make public commitments. Share your goals with others to create accountability. When you commit to a goal publicly, it adds pressure to stick with it, making it harder to back out. By strategically designing your environment and removing obstacles, you can make good habits easier to maintain and make bad habits harder to indulge in. This approach helps ensure that you are naturally guided toward behaviors that align with your goals. The cardinal rule of behavior change. Another important concept in forming habits is the cardinal rule of behavior change. This rule states that when an experience is satisfying, we are more likely to repeat that behavior. This idea makes sense. Even small pleasures send signals to our brains that say, "This is good. Do it again." A good example of this is chewing gum. The earliest chewing gums had no flavor, making them quite bland. However, in 1891, flavors were added, making the experience much more enjoyable. It's clear that if an experience isn't enjoyable, there is little incentive to repeat it. The cardinal rule of behavior change emphasizes that behaviors that get rewarded are more likely to be repeated, while behaviors that are punished are avoided. However, this rule has a twist. We often seek immediate satisfaction. The outcomes of habits can vary over time, and these outcomes can be surprising. For instance, bad habits often provide instant pleasure, but lead to long-term negative consequences. On the other hand, good habits might be challenging at first, but offer significant long-term benefits. Many people prefer instant gratification over waiting for long-term rewards. To make good habits satisfying and encourage repetition, consider the following strategies. 1. Track your progress. Keeping a journal or chart to mark your achievements can provide immediate satisfaction and a sense of accomplishment. You can see how far you've come and feel motivated to keep going. 2. Reward yourself. Create a system of rewards for completing a habit. For example, treat yourself to a small reward when you finish a workout or complete a task. This creates positive associations with the habit and reinforces the behavior. 3. Use visual cues. Visual reminders of your progress can be helpful. For example, keep a jar where you add a coin each time you complete a habit. Watching the jar fill up can be satisfying and motivating. 4. Make it fun. Find ways to make the habit itself enjoyable. If you want to exercise, choose activities you love, such as dancing or playing a sport. By making the process enjoyable, you increase the chances of sticking with it. When good habits are satisfying and pleasurable, you are more likely to continue doing them over time. The goal is to make the process enjoyable so that you naturally want to repeat the behavior. This reinforces positive habits and helps eliminate negative ones. How to stick with good habits every day. To successfully stick with good habits, you can take inspiration from Benjamin Franklin. When he was in his 20s, he carried a small booklet with him every day to track his 13 personal virtues. These included goals like lose no time and be no trifler. This practice of habit tracking helped him stay focused on his goals and encouraged him to make consistent progress. Habit tracking can be beneficial for anyone looking to stick with new habits as it provides structure and accountability. Here are some ways that habit tracking can help you. 1. It makes behaviors obvious. By tracking your goals, you can easily see what you are trying to achieve. This makes it easier to focus on your habits because you are consistently reminded of your objectives. 2. It makes habits enjoyable. Tracking progress can be motivating. Checking off a task or marking a day as completed feels good and reinforces your efforts. 3. It makes it satisfying. The simple act of crossing off an item from your list can be incredibly satisfying. It provides a sense of accomplishment, which encourages you to keep going. To track your habits effectively, consider these steps. 1. Use a journal or app. Find a dedicated space to track your habits, whether it's a physical journal or a mobile app. Having a specific place to log your progress makes it easier to stay consistent. 2. Set clear goals. Define what success looks like for you. Be specific about the habits you want to establish so you know what to work toward. 3. Track consistently. Make it part of your daily routine to update your tracker. Consistency is key, so find a time each day when you can reflect on your progress. 4. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small. Celebrating small victories helps reinforce your commitment to your habits. 5. Review regularly. Take time to review your progress and adjust your goals if needed. Reflecting on your journey helps you stay motivated and focused. By utilizing habit tracking, you gain motivation, accountability, and satisfaction, which are all essential elements for maintaining good habits. The more engaged you are in your journey, the more likely you are to stick with your goals. Conclusion: in summary, the law of least effort teaches us that we are naturally inclined to take the path of least resistance. By understanding this principle, we can design our environments to support good habits while making bad habits more difficult to indulge in. The 2-minute rule offers a practical approach to starting new habits by breaking them down into manageable steps. The cardinal rule of behavior change highlights the importance of making good habits enjoyable so that they become rewarding experiences. Finally, habit tracking serves as a powerful tool to help you stay focused and motivated as you work toward your goals. By integrating these strategies into your life, you can effectively develop and maintain positive habits that leads to personal growth and fulfillment. How an accountability partner can change everything. We often find ourselves wanting to repeat enjoyable experiences and avoiding painful ones. Pain can teach us valuable lessons. When we face failure and it hurts, it motivates us to make changes. However, if we fail and it doesn't impact us right away, we might ignore the lessons we need to learn. The more immediate and significant the mistake, the more we can learn from it. For example, if an employee receives a bad review, it can push them to improve their performance. Extreme consequences tend to make people learn quickly and make better choices in the future. This is why having an accountability partner can be incredibly helpful. When you know that someone is watching your progress, it keeps you motivated and focused. If you understand that there are immediate consequences for your actions, you're less likely to procrastinate. If you put things off and your boss notices, they might see you as lazy and untrustworthy. We all care about how others perceive us, especially those who can help us achieve our goals. An accountability partner ensures that someone is always there to keep track of your progress. So, how exactly can an accountability partner make a difference in your life? Here are 5 key ways. 1. Immediate feedback. An accountability partner provides quick feedback on your actions. This helps you recognize mistakes and correct them right away. If you're struggling with a project at work or a goal in your personal life, having someone to talk to can help you see things from a different perspective. They can point out areas where you might be going wrong and suggest ways to improve. This kind of immediate feedback is crucial because it allows you to adjust your approach before you go too far off track. 2. Motivation. Knowing that someone is holding you accountable keeps you motivated to stick to your goals. The desire to avoid disappointing your partner can be a strong motivator. When you have someone who is invested in your success, it makes you want to show up and do your best. You don't want to let them down, and that can push you to keep working hard, even on days when you feel like giving up. 3. Consistency. Regular check-ins with your accountability partner ensure that you remain consistent in your efforts. Consistency is vital for building and maintaining good habits. When you know you have to report back to someone about your progress, you're more likely to stay on track. This helps you avoid falling back into old patterns of behavior that may not be serving you well. 4. Support and encouragement. An accountability partner offers support and encouragement. They help you stay positive and focused on your goals. When you're feeling down or discouraged, having someone in your corner can make a big difference. They can remind you of your strengths and help you see the progress you've made, even when you're struggling to see it yourself. 5. Honest evaluation. Your accountability partner provides an honest evaluation of your progress. They can help you see where you need to improve and also celebrate your successes. Sometimes we can be our own harshest critics, and it helps to have someone who can give us a more balanced view. They can highlight your achievements and help you recognize that you are making progress, even if it feels slow. To make the most of an accountability partnership, consider the following steps. 1. Choose wisely. Select someone you trust and respect, and who is committed to helping you achieve your goals. This person should be someone you feel comfortable sharing your struggles and successes with. Having the right partner can make a significant difference in how effective the partnership is. 2. Set clear expectations. Define what you want to achieve and how your partner can help you stay accountable. Discuss your goals together and make sure you're both on the same page. This will ensure that both of you know what to expect from each other. 3. Schedule regular check-ins. Plan regular meetings to discuss your progress and any challenges you're facing. Consistency in your check-ins is essential to keep the momentum going. Whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, find a rhythm that works for both of you. 4. Be honest. Be open and honest about your progress and struggles. Transparency is crucial for making the partnership effective. If you're not honest about what you're facing, your partner won't be able to help you as effectively. By having an accountability partner, you create a system of external checks and support that helps you stay on track and achieve your goals more effectively. The relationship should be mutually beneficial, where both partners help each other grow and improve. Once you start practicing a habit for a long time, it can become routine and even boring. What used to excite you and bring you joy may start to feel like just another task. This boredom can be one of the greatest challenges you face in maintaining your habits. We often get bored with our habits because they no longer provide the same level of satisfaction, and we start to expect a specific outcome. The truth is that it doesn't matter what you want to improve. If you only do it when it excites you, you won't be consistent enough to achieve great results. There will be days when you want to quit, and the key is to stick with it, even when it's painful, boring, or exhausting. This is what separates amateurs from professionals. The only way to succeed is to engage fully in what you do and find joy in the process. One downside of habits is that we often don't notice small mistakes. Because we do something repeatedly out of habit, we might not be improving. However, you don't need to worry too much about this because some habits don't require constant improvement. For example, how you tie your shoes doesn't need frequent upgrades. But if you want to master a skill, simply having a habit is not enough. You need to put in hard work until you acquire certain skills. Here's what you need to do to go from good to great. 1. Embrace boredom. Understand that not every moment will be exciting. It's essential to embrace the monotony and keep pushing through. This is where true growth happens. Learning to enjoy the process, even when it feels dull, can lead to significant improvements over time. 2. Continuous improvement. Always look for small ways to improve your performance. Don't get stuck in old ways of thinking and acting. Life is constantly changing, and your habits and beliefs should change too. By staying flexible and open to new ideas, you can continue to grow. 3. Self-awareness. Maintain a high level of self-awareness. Regularly evaluate your performance and look for areas where you can improve. Avoid becoming complacent. Self-reflection can help you identify strengths and weaknesses, allowing you to make necessary adjustments to your approach. 4. Deliberate practice. Engage in deliberate practice, which means practicing with the intention to improve. Focus on the aspects that challenge you the most. This type of focused practice is how you develop mastery over time. It's not just about doing the activity, it's about being thoughtful about how you can do it better. 5. Feedback and reflection. Seek feedback and take time to reflect on it. Understand what works and what doesn't. Make adjustments to your approach based on the feedback you receive. This cycle of feedback and reflection can accelerate your growth and improvement. By incorporating these advanced tactics, you can push past the initial excitement and routine of your habits and continue to improve. This approach will help you achieve not just good results, but truly great ones. Underscore, 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 underscore. In Atomic Habits, James Clear offers a comprehensive guide to understanding and transforming our habits. The principles laid out in the book are not just theoretical. They are practical steps that can be applied in daily life to achieve remarkable results. By following the 4 laws of behavior change, make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying, you can create an environment that supports positive habits while minimizing negative ones. One of the key takeaways is the importance of small, incremental changes. Often, we underestimate the power of tiny improvements made consistently over time. These 1% improvements, compounded daily, can lead to significant transformations in our lives. By focusing on the process rather than the outcome, we can stay motivated and committed to our goals. The book also emphasizes the role of our environment and social circles in shaping our habits. Surrounding ourselves with supportive, like-minded individuals and designing our spaces to encourage good behaviors can make a substantial difference in our ability to stick to new habits. If we have friends and family who share our goals, it can create a positive feedback loop that encourages us to keep going. Moreover, Clear highlights the importance of self-awareness and deliberate practice in achieving mastery. It's not enough to simply perform a habit. We must continuously seek ways to improve and adapt to new challenges. This requires a mindset of lifelong learning and resilience in the face of boredom and setbacks. Atomic Habits provides a blueprint for building a better life through the power of small habits. By understanding the science behind habit formation and implementing the strategies discussed, you can create lasting change and unlock your full potential. Remember, success is not a single monumental event, but a series of small, consistent actions taken over time. Start small, stay consistent, and watch as your efforts compound into extraordinary results. Thank you for listening to this audiobook summary of Atomic Habits by James Clear. We hope you found the insights and strategies helpful and that you feel inspired to start making small, positive changes in your life. Remember, it's the tiny, consistent actions that lead to remarkable transformations over time. By making your good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, you can create a system that supports continuous improvement and success. If you enjoyed this summary and found it valuable, please consider subscribing to our channel and sharing it with your friends and family. Your support helps us bring more content like this to you. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know which habits you're planning to build or change using the principles from Atomic Habits. Stay tuned for more summaries and insights from the best personal development books out there. Until next time, keep striving for progress, not perfection, and watch as your efforts compound into extraordinary results. Thank you and take care.